Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody, and welcome to Surfside, California, where it's a gorgeous morning. There's no question about it. I've got so much to cover with you, including some really good yellowfin tuna fishing on the Royal Polaris. I mean, they got into them. These beaches last night, were they covered with Grunion? Was I out here? I'm going to show you in just a second. It was marvelous. Birds are pounding the water. You may not see it right now, but I can look down here and see pelicans pounding and all kinds of white terns picking, and that's always a great sign. Rock fishing was excellent. Got the backstory on so many other great trips. We've got it all for you. You know what time it is, my friends. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning. Oh, thank you for indulging me in this cup of warm coffee. It's kind of warm right now, but I'll tell you what a day in sport fishing. It's been a lot of fun. We've got a lot to catch you up on. Almost to 2 million views here since we opened the channel. 210,000 hours of content consumed by you. And now the morning briefing has thousands of viewers just about every single morning. And I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. Don't forget, you can become a Patreon member and help us produce more content. In fact, 3 live shows every week, including the morning briefing every single morning, and lots of other content for you. And this Tuesday, Jeff Jessup, the captain, owner-operator of several boats. Well, not the operator. He jumps on all these other boats. The Apollo, the Amigo, the Freedom. Jeff, of course, highly involved in 22nd Street Landing. So knowledgeable. He babysitted my kids when he was a younger man on board the Spitfire. I'd drop him off and Jeff would take care of him. Jeff Jessup. This Tuesday night, you're not going to want to miss it. Wednesday night, we'll be live from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. And then Thursday night, the Danny Cadota Show live from the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. What a week we've got ahead. And then, of course, Saturday, we're at Santa Ana River Lakes teaching kids how to fish for trout with the boys from the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. There is Chuck's number. If you want to join us, we'd love to have you. We've got a great raffle. Time's running out. Send Chuck a message and you can get in on it. Man, I paid those pelicans to do that. So thank you very, very much. You can send Chuck a message, a text, and buy raffle tickets. You don't have to be present to win a beautiful Penn Fathom reel or a couple of beautiful custom trout rods. And you can come out to Santa Ana River Lakes, fish trout, and have lunch. You just have to buy your entry into the lake and then your $10 raffle ticket. It's good for the raffle and it's good for lunch. Just hand it over to one of us and we'll take good care of you. That is going to be a lot of fun. So we do have a ton of great stuff going on. Royal Polaris, well, they made their way down the Baja coast. They picked off a few yellowtail on the way down there, and then they got finally to their destination, had some beautiful, gorgeous weather, looked out toward the horizon, saw a bird school, and went out there and rocked it big time. Nice day on the Royal Polaris. A lot of that 60 to 90 pound yellowfin tuna, some smaller, some bigger, but just really a lot of action, a lot of phenomenal fishing. In fact, the boys got caught with their pants down, the guys on board, when they got on that first bird school. I mean, it was mayhem. But the Royal Polaris crew, as usual, great on tangles, great on customer service. There's a reason why that boat has been up at the apex of sport fishing or long-range vessels. There's a lot of boats up in that same category, but great trip on the Royal Polaris. Oh, where have our bluefin tuna gone? We are wondering here out loud because the bluefin tuna bite has been tough. Spotter plane was up the other day, saw most of the fish below 150 miles. So it's a ways down the peninsula right now, and it's very fickle. It's not biting all that well. There has been, in the past couple of weeks, some decent bites. The best one, most notable one, probably on the Polaris Supreme, where they had 41 of those nice bluefin, right up to about 200 pounds. In fact, over 200 pounds, biting those knife jigs, best of all at night, 250 grams to 400 grams. Paying attention to the captain when he says to drop to 300 feet, drop to 300 or a little bit deeper. He's seeing the fish at 300, drop to 350 and come up through that ISER line. That color line helps you to understand what depth you are at, and fishing heavy line at night, 130 pound is what I would do. That is. Now they also had some fish in the daytime, but that daytime bite has been very tough. I think they had a stop on the Supreme for like 9 bluefin, and that was 2 ways to take those fish in the daytime. at least currently, and that was a sinker rig or a fly line sardine on 40-pound fluorocarbon, www.optionusa.com. So there you have it. We've got you caught up on that. Want to take a little break? Here I was last night wandering around this same beach at midnight. What happened? Here it is. Big bright full moon here this evening. A Grunion run predicted. I can see birds way down the beach. That bodes well. Let's see if we can find some. I am so happy I came out here and saw this evening, and I'm able to bring you along with me. Happy Easter, my friends. Get out and see the Grunion. I've seen that so many times, and every time I see it, I thank God that I came out here and got on my lazy butt out here at midnight last night and checked it out. Truly remarkable night, as you can see, and that was a lot of fun. All right, still talking about albacore because we have this cooler water, and we're wondering if that's not what has that bluefin tuna off the bite. It's a cooler water year so far, even with an El Nino brewing down around the equator right now. El Nino, warm water. La Nina, cool water. We have both those phenomenons kind of spinning around us in Southern California. And right now we have cooler water. I talked to the bait boat guys in San Pedro just the other night with Danny Cadota, and they said they're seeing more and more anchovy. So cooler water, more anchovy. Is it enough to produce a really good albacore bite? We'll find out as time goes on. Captain Tom Holland thinks it is. He keeps saying we're going to have albacore this year. And he went on to say that, hey, I had some of my best days when I was running boats fishing with sardines. So I don't know what you're talking about with the anchovy. So, Tommy, let me just say this, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What we are suggesting is that more anchovy in the environment bodes well to get those fish in here. If they're in here and you have a tank of sardine, they're going to bite it. Yeah, full speed, wide open. But having anchovy, which like the cooler water, move in here, and I think you'll agree with this, maybe we just misunderstood, will suck those albacore in here. In other words, if you have all sardine, it's probably because you have warmer water, and the albacore don't like that. So hopefully that clears up some of that confusion. All right, rock fishing, man, what can I tell you? It has been phenomenal. And there's several stories that I can bring you from guys that were out on boats. But first of all, on the cover of the morning briefing today, a couple of guys from Pegasus Sport Fishing out of Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. I love the Pegasus. I fished it for so many years when Joe Chait was running it. Had so many great trips. Jacob Barclay and Alex Stockfelt. Alex, congratulations, just acquired the Pegasus and is doing a fabulous job keeping the tradition of customer service, hard work, and catching fish alive on the Pegasus out of Fisherman's Landing. Check out the grade of those rockfish the boys caught. Nice fish indeed. And they're fishing the local waters there in San Diego, which says it all for the local boats out of Seaforth and all the landings down there. Point Loma, Fisherman's, H&M, all the guys. And the local bite, because we can access those deeper waters right now, has really been good, illustrated perfectly by the boys from the Pegasus. Also, the Pursuit with some great fishing out of 22nd Street Landing. I'm just jumping on a few boats to illustrate how good it was. It's just great rock fishing right now, and that deeper water that we're able to fish in is producing some really big fish. So that is great news. Pursuit, I got to tell you, Mark Mangueras was out there yesterday. Mark sent me a message and said, Phil, I got to tell you, Gus, the captain, works his tail off. And we caught lots of great rockfish, all kinds of delicious, colorful bottom fish. And he said the crew on the Pursuit, he loves them. They did such a great job. And Gus even fished a little bit late last night, so that's great. Nice halibut on the Aloha Spirit, as well as some nice fish, whitefish and rockfish. It was a little bit bumpy up in the Channel Islands, but still some excellent fishing. No question about that. And a good friend of mine, Alan Rushing, and his kids, Aaron and Lance, they had a trip on the new Hustler. Unfortunately, the new Hustler had a little bit of a problem, and they had to cancel. And it was kind of a last minute. And those kinds of things happen. That was up there at Hook's Landing in the Channel Islands. So Cindy, who works at Hook's Landing, really went to great extremes to call Cisco Sport Fishing and see if Brian could help them out. And Brian was able to put together and get the boys on board Captain Bob's boat out of Cisco Sport Fishing, and the crew on the Seabiscuit did a phenomenal job and made the kids feel right at home. Lance had all kinds of reds, beautiful fish, and Aaron had some short lingcod and other fish. They were able to go home with some nice fish and put together a beautiful day up there at the landing. And what the remarkable thing about that is that you had two landings working together. In fact, Alan said Cindy at Hooks and Brian at Cisco's made it all come together, went way out of their way to save their trip and get the boys out on the water, because this was a big thank you to the boys, or a reward, I should say, for their excellent schoolwork. So that is a great story indeed. I love that for sure. Good rockfish up and down the coast. That is good news. And I'm skipping over landings, not because they're not catching, but it's just redundant. Everybody's getting in on that rockfish bite, some a little bit better than others, and we'll keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. Now, in addition to that, folks, up there in San Francisco, I still have to mention that excellent halibut bite up there, Pacific Adventures Sport Fishing, catching all kinds of halibut, 6 guys with 16 flatfish, and they also had 4 stripers to go along with it. Man, that place up there's on fire. They have been doing a number on the fish. And recently here, as I mentioned, out at our local island, San Clemente, Catalina, those islands, if you're not fishing rockfish, there's been some decent halibut catches. The Pride's been in on that in terms of white sea bass. All up and down this coast, some private yachts have scored some giant sea bass, and they've been doing that for weeks now, but we're not supposed to be talking about that. Those yacht guys can finagle their way into some areas that sport boats might have a little bit of trouble getting into, but there are some sea bass around. Hopefully that light switch will kick on. It usually kicks on when that water temp gets to 60 and above, but they have been known to bite in the cooler water, although not as voraciously in most cases. So we'll keep our eyes on that. I think we're a little bit early with this cooler water year that we are experiencing here so far. So once again, there are halibut and some sea bass are around. And tonight there's another Grunion run, and then the next night there'll be another Grunion run. If you want to check that out, man, just phenomenal to be out. And there was one other guy, Jeff, who's fishes these Grunion run all the time. Jeff and I just sat there just kind of feeling really blessed and really, really lucky. No question about that. All right, my friends, is it too early for me to say Happy Easter here on Holy Saturday morning? I wish you and your families and send you all my very, very best. And thank you for elevating us to such heights so quickly here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Of course, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the other platforms, and I can't thank you enough. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We deeply appreciate all of your support. Have a really wonderful Easter. And if you get a chance, bring the kids out to check this out. It is truly remarkable. All right, we're waiting for those bluefin. Will there be albacore? We'll have more for you later today. And once again, enjoy your Saturday and have a happy Easter. Take care, my friends.